that we were able to bring on two PharmDs. They live in a lab. Well, actually, I'm gonna let Ross introduce them real quick because they actually came from Ross. They're good friends of Ross's. But when I met with them, I was super excited because as soon as you start talking about, and you guys know how much I love to talk about products and ingredients, and I love facts and statistics on the products, but I don't know how it all works in the body. And so as soon as I sit down with them and Ross, and they all start going into all the psychology of the body and on and introduce them, and we can start asking some questions around the products.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks. So as Gavin mentioned, I've known Ben and Chelsea for quite some time. I've known Ben longer. Ben used to work with me at the network marketing company that I worked at prior to joining Illuva. And then he decided that he was going to be a lot smarter than me and then go become a doctor. So we parted ways, but never lost our friendship. He went to school to become a pharmacist and get his doctorate in pharmacy, where he met Chelsea, and they're actually married. And so we're really lucky that we have two PharmDs. I'm really lucky to have two PharmDs as such close friends. And we're lucky at Illuva that we have PharmDs, because nobody understands better how chemicals and ingredients interact with the different functions of your body and other things that you are consuming in your body than pharmacists do. A lot of times people will say, go talk to your doctor. You go talk to your doctor about a bunch of different pharmaceutical drugs, or this or that, they're going to be like, that's a good question for the pharmacist. And so as we were kind of debating about, okay, what do we want to comprise our health and science advisory board of? What are the type of specialists and experts that we want and need to make sure that our products are the absolute best, and so we understand how to improve them? We knew for a fact that we needed to have pharmacists. And I was like, I know two really, really smart people. And so without further ado, I want to introduce Ben Smith and Chelsea Carter Smith. Both very kind, loving people. They hate it when I call them doctor. So you can refer to them as Ben and Chelsea if you like. I know that they would appreciate that. But if you forget their names, you can call them doctor as well. And as they kind of talk through and briefly introduce themselves as well, I want you guys all to know that we want to get as many of your questions answered as possible. So feel free to drop your product related questions into the chat, and we'll be picking through a few of those to ask the pharmacists. But they're going to give kind of a general overview of what it is that they love about the products, some of the research that they've done on our ingredients, and give some general tips and tricks and knowledge about our products as well. So why don't we start with ladies first? Go ahead, Dr. Chelsea Carter.
Okay, can you hear me? All right, so my name is Dr. Chelsea Carter. I am a pharmacist who specializes in patient education and well-being. I focus on prescriptions and natural supplement consumption. I enjoy helping people make the best of their health with both the knowledge of medicine and natural supplements. So that is me.
Awesome. And Dr. Ben Smith?
First off, I'd like to say I need one of those fancy Illuva hats so I can cover my bald head. Yes. So that's got to happen. But my name is Dr. Ben Smith. Like Ross mentioned, we go way back. I actually used to work in the natural supplement industry myself for about 5 years, and then got into medicine. And so I kind of like to mesh both together. But I work in a hospital as a pharmacist. I specialized in infectious disease type medications, antibiotics and respiratory meds. And I like to meld that in with the natural supplement background that I have and kind of give the best of both worlds. And we're excited to be here.
Awesome. Yeah, and we're really excited to hear and learn from you guys. And so, as I mentioned before, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of, I know you guys have been just with us for the last couple of months, and we've basically been asking you to drink from a fire hose while being full-time pharmacists and advising us on, some of the formulas that we are hoping to launch later this year, as well as looking at our current product deck and how we can improve it. And so I would just love to hear from you guys, some of the things that you've learned about Illuva, some of the things that you love about Illuva. Obviously, they're taking the products as well. I know that Chelsea loves the greens and how great they taste, but if you guys would just kind of, I don't know if you've like decided if you want to like how you want to split them up, or if you just want us to start tossing questions, but I would love to hear from you guys first and foremost about, you know, what do you like about Illuva products, and then we can field some questions. You're on mute, Ben.
All right, I'd like to take the lead on this one if that's all right. Yeah. Cool. Well, like I mentioned before, I like to focus on a little bit of the infectious disease aspect. And here at Illuva, we have the Immune Drop product that I've really come to love and appreciate. Going back about 50 years or so, believe it or not very long ago, we noticed a sharp increase in people in the Middle East that were getting sick and dying from just your natural colds. And they were not sure what was going on. And upon looking into it further, they realized that those patients or people were all low end zinc, which, believe it or not, was a cause of all these people like getting these illnesses and dying. And they're like, well, what does zinc have to do with any of this? Then they realized that zinc actually plays a role in both your innate and your adaptive immunity. So innate meaning like your lymphocytes, just your white blood cells that you think of, and adaptive are your more specialized immune cells. And it actually takes zinc to make those immune cells. And if you don't have zinc in your diet, then you're going to be insufficient in those immune cells. And then I come to look at our immune product, and lo and behold, the label has 100% of your daily zinc value. And I'm like, what? Like, wow, we are just onto something and ahead of our time. So that was super awesome to see. And I love to know that we have found like good, solid evidence-based products here that support our well-being and our health. So that was my kind of first initiation into our products, and have really come to love them ever since.
I love that. I didn't know the story about the Middle East. I mean, I've always loved zinc. I've known the power of zinc. I didn't know that was kind of like the origin of them discovering like how incredibly important it is. Zinc and L-glutamine were two of like we cannot compromise these two ingredients. Both of them are notoriously bad tasting. And so we're like, how do we get zinc and glutamine into an immune product that's going to taste good, that even kids can take? And Gavin, being the formulator whiz that he is, he was able to figure out how to get the right amount in there and then also make it taste great. So that was awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Ben.
So that kind of, am I good? You hear me? So that is kind of where one of my favorite ingredients in this product is ginger, because when you taste it, you taste ginger. It's kind of something that overpowers a lot of the taste. So let's just start off by saying that it's always better to prevent sickness than it is to treat a sickness when you're in the heart of it. The immune system is very complex and it's always working 24/7. So because it is so complex, it is very beneficial in helping it and assisting it in ways so that it can focus on something else. And so, for example, like ginger, which is what I feel like in my experience, you can primarily taste, and it's delicious, by the way. So ginger has been shown to help decrease these, the chemical that's an anti-inflammatory, well, one second. So it's a pro-cytokine. So a pro-cytokine is something that is shown in your body, and it's what brings on an inflammatory response. And it's something that we want to help block, so the immune system is like, you don't need to focus on this, try to focus on something else. And so the immune supplement is something that is just very beneficial, and that it attacks things in different ways. So the immune system is like, you're taking responsibility of that, now let me help in different other ways. So
that's awesome. And I actually really love ginger. Gavin and I, anytime that we go to a sushi restaurant, we're like, hey, can you bring out the biggest bowl possible of ginger? Because I mean, like you mentioned, not only does it taste great, but it has absolutely amazing benefits. And people have known the benefits of ginger for a really long time without really understanding the why. And so I know that like the scientific research backing that like, hey, ginger is actually really incredibly healthy for you is, you know, somewhat of a modern revelation, but you know, people have been eating ginger for centuries, if not, you know, millennia, knowing that, you know, ginger really does support your immune system in incredible ways. Let's see. Did you guys have some other comments you want to make about some like product ingredients in general, or you want us to field some questions? Oh, Ben, you're on mute again. Ben's been so long in a hospital, he forgot how to use Zoom.
There we are. There's the mute button. What would you prefer?
No, I think it's like a good little mix of everything. Actually, I really like the information you guys are giving. I think everybody else is enjoying it as well. It's all things that none of us knew before.
Yeah, I have a few suggestions on some stuff that we could chat about. I think Ben, I know you and Chelsea have done some research recently, and it's some of the stuff that we published specifically on our greens, and you guys did a study actually and looked at athletic greens and some of the other competitors. And so, you know, the greens is one of, I think, everyone's favorite products on here. And so I'd love to chat a little bit about, you know, what research you guys saw specifically with the greens products. And then I have a few more follow-up questions with that.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about the greens. So they recommend 8 ounces or 231 grams of vegetables a day, right? And who in this busy world that we have has time to consume 8 ounces of veggies? Maybe some people. I myself don't. I might get like a piece of lettuce here and there in a hamburger as I'm going doing my thing, but it's impossible for me to get like all of those greens that I need on a daily basis. So I appreciate the fact that I can supplement on top of the lettuce I'm getting in my hamburger and a few other things here and there. I can supplement good, healthy greens to help me get to that level that I need. And I also like that it's not just like, here's a slab of iceberg lettuce that's pretty void of nutrients. This is nutrient dense ingredients. And it's not just, here's a handful of a bunch of different things, hopefully it goes well. These are very few select items that are incredibly nutrient dense and have shown like thousands of benefits. We have like spirulina and spinach and kale and those things that you just know, like your mom made you eat those as a kid because everyone knows that they're like super beneficial. And this is what we're giving you. And we're giving you sufficient quantities to help you get to that level that you need on a daily basis, which I really appreciate. Coming from a busy life and also from the chemical compound of what those ingredients give you.
One question that I've gotten asked a few times is, do you need to eat greens if you're taking supplements? And, you know, you kind of chat a little bit about your experience, but do you get enough of your daily greens in Life Greens?
You want me to take it? So for me, for example, well, actually, both of us, we work long 12-hour shifts, and it is really hard for us to get vegetables on a daily basis. But we might get some here and there. But to know that we have the Aluva Life Greens to supplement what we're missing is 100% great. It is a supplement. That's what it means. It's supplementing your diet already. So it is definitely a good idea to always have fresh vegetables and fresh fruits and things like that. But we all don't get those 8 ounces of vegetables that he says every single day. So supplement, yes. And it is a very good idea to both take raw vegetables, fruits, and things like that, and take the supplement as well, because it's giving you what you might be missing. So I will just tell you guys from a personal experience, just a week and a half ago, I broke a bone. And I went and spoke to my orthopedic surgeon, had to have surgery, all that fun nonsense. And the most important thing that they told me to do is to make sure that you're getting your vegetables, and it's going to give you, you know, the calcium, the magnesium, the things that you need to heal your wound and your bone health and your own personal health as well. And so I got excited because I'm like, okay, I got this in the bag. I have both my diet, which isn't always the best sometimes, but I get my vegetables. But I just knew that every single day I'm going to take these Aluva Life Greens and it's going to give me what I need for me and my own self to heal. So that's my personal experience on this.
Awesome. Thank you guys for sharing. One question that popped up, and then I actually have a question that we've talked about before. And I know, Ross, you do a good job explaining about the L-theanine. But in the Ignite, we have time release, caffeine. We have green coffee bean gives you 80 milligrams, and that gives you more of the hit. The L-theanine is more of a time release, and it comes over time. And so even though there's 180 milligrams in there, you're not getting 180 milligrams necessarily at once. Will you guys just touch on L-theanine, any one of you three?
Yeah, so L-theanine basically, so yeah, it's more of a time release. It's not giving you this hit of energy and then you crash. It's something that kind of works over the time, and it actually works synergistically with caffeine. So the combination of them together is really beneficial. It gives you a heightened awareness, alertness, a focus, and things like that. It's not going to give you the high and then the crash that, like, say, your 5-hour energy drink's going to do.
Awesome. One thing that I've noticed, even with me personally, and I get this probably all the time, and people say, and there's a study that I referenced too, if you have a cup of coffee or energy drink in the morning, you're 68% more likely to have one in the afternoon. Well, also a lot of people here say, oh, I can drink 5 cups of coffee, or I can take an energy drink and go to bed. And I hear that all the time, and I probably could drink an energy drink and go to bed. And I just don't really drink the energy drinks a ton because I don't need them. But anyways, how can someone reset their body so that they can, when they take an energy drink, they can feel it again if you can't feel it, or you could fall asleep? Because you shouldn't be able to fall asleep if you drink an energy drink, correct?
Yeah, I'll tackle this one if that's okay. So first, to tie onto the L-theanine, by itself isn't as beneficial, but when it's used synergistically with the caffeine, as we've put in this product here, then it actually does have those synergistic effects, like Dr. Carter was saying, where it does improve alertness and mentality and all those other benefits. So it's kind of a good combination, and it also has a different half-life. The half-life is the longevity of the product in your system. So it has a different half-life than the caffeine itself. So what that does is it makes it not so much of an abrupt like hit and then a crash that if you were to just drink like a 5-hour energy would have, because it does have varying elements in it that do kind of come on and decrease at different rates, which allows more of a steady energy source. As far as the second part of that question, your body has an amazing ability to counter all sorts of things that we do to it. Your body is comprised of cells, right? Those cells make up all of our tissues, and those cells require energy called ATP. The byproduct, kind of the waste of that energy, is called adenosine, and adenosine will go out of the cell and tell that cell, hey, we've been working hard, let's maybe go to sleep or calm down. And caffeine will come in and will take the place of that adenosine, where the adenosine would go in and tell it to sleep. Caffeine will take its spot and say, no, adenosine, like, you're not going to say anything. We're just going to keep on trucking along and keep on going. And that's how caffeine works. So what your body does then in turn is it makes more receptors for the adenosine so that adenosine can go tell the cell to go to sleep. So then what you need to do is then drink more caffeine and more caffeine and more caffeine to combat your body's making more adenosine receptors. So you have two options. Either one, you could stop drinking caffeine for a week or so, and your body would then reset and you would deregulate those adenosine receptors and you'd be good to go. Or you could take a product that has more of a, not just caffeine and other things to help you maintain alertness, like CoQ10 and the L-theanine and things like that. So that it's not just simply relying on bombarding your body with caffeine, but giving you energy in other sources so that you're not upregulating all those adenosine receptors. If that answers that.
No, that was awesome. I'm gonna not drink caffeine for 1 week, and I'll test it out. So I'm excited to try that because, yeah, again, I've just for a long time I just haven't really been able to get the energy I want from energy drinks. Ross, do you have any other questions? I saw one question.
Yeah, there
Go
was a
ahead,
good
Ross.
one in the chat that kind of asking about the benefits of G-Burn. And then what would you say to somebody that is using G-Burn that has a pretty powerful appetite suppressant, the Garcinia cambogia, or otherwise known as the mango fruit? You know, why would somebody potentially feel hungrier after starting a regimen of G-Burn where there's the thermogenic, the appetite suppressant, and the other ingredients in there? Let's see, what can you guys say towards that?
So the question is, why would they have that appetite suppressant? Is that what I'm getting from
Yeah,
that?
so some people are saying that they're hungrier now that they started taking G-Burn. When one of the benefits of G-Burn is that it will help curb your appetite because of the Garcinia cambogia.
Okay, so the G-Burn is again kind of a synergistic supplement in that it has multiple ingredients that are doing multiple different things. Some of which, for example, are increasing the metabolism of your cells. What that means is it's breaking down foods, it's causing heat, it's causing that thermoregulation, which requires energy. And so your body, if you're increasing that metabolism, what it's going to want to do is consume more energy, right? Which may in turn cause an appetite, which is why we have this synergistic G-Burn that has other things in it to try to decrease that appetite. Everybody is different in how their body reacts. Some people might be more sensitive to some of the ingredients than others. It's kind of not a one answer fits all, but it does increase that metabolism in your body to try to help you burn that fat, which your body might initially say, hey, I need more food because we're burning more energy maybe than I'm consuming initially.
Yeah, and so one thing I've had that question a few times, and it's not a bad thing to be hungry. You know, on the G-Burn, that means your metabolism, like Ben was saying, is burning. It's doing what it's supposed to do. You know, there's days where I will not be as hungry, and there's days I will be hungry, and I take G-Burn every single day. Ross, you got another one?
Yeah, so we have digestive enzymes in a lot of our products, and so I think Chelsea did a really great job of actually teaching me a little bit more about how beneficial the different types of digestive enzymes are that we have, in making sure that we're really optimizing the absorption of the nutrients that are in our ingredients. And so, Chelsea, if you wouldn't mind kind of telling everybody what it was that you taught me about the digestive enzymes, because I was like, oh, wow, that's even more amazing, because I already knew that they were great, but I didn't understand how great. We can't hear you, you're on mute.
Oh, that works better probably. So I have been super stoked about these enzymes, and I didn't know that there were a bunch of different enzymes that breaks down a bunch of different things in the body. And so the one that I am amazed by is amylase. And this is when I was in pharmacy school, I was just like, oh, digestion starts in the mouth. You're actually digesting certain things starting in the mouth. So the moment you eat something, your body's starting to digest it. So not only do you digest it in the stomach or the intestines, but it starts in the mouth. So the amylase, starts in the mouth. And then there's cellulase for, vegetables, which I think is very important, especially for the greens product that we have here. Protease for proteins, and just these digestive enzymes. It excites me that we can actually supplement ourselves with these, especially when some people might be deficient in them and you have no idea. So it's something that I believe it's both in the greens and the immune product, I believe. Yes. G-Burn, not the immune. Yes. So G-Burn and the greens, it's in both of these. And so with the greens, it's going to help you digest and get the greens, the supplements that you need from that. And then the G-Burn, it kind of excites me because you're both decreasing your appetite, and then the food that you do ingest, it's helping you break them down and utilize them in the way that you need. So that's my favorite aspect of both of those.
Awesome, thanks. So another question came up.
And just to add one thing to that, sorry, real quick. It is also in the Ignite, the digestive enzymes. I I had to go double check because I'm like, I swear it's in the Ignite. So it's in all three of the products. It's not in the Neem
Oh,
product.
okay. I didn't see the Ignite, so that's even, sorry, that's better.
We really want everybody to get, healthy digestion, because, we know that that's kind of like the key to opening the potential to all other chains of health, and connecting all the different systems that your body has running simultaneously.
And that really is the truth, and that we see a lot of people who have stomach issues. There's like, oh, my stomach hurts. And one of those number one causes of your stomach hurting is that you can't actually break down the food that you're taking. And so having something, especially if there are 3 of the 4 products, that's amazing that you're being able to assist that.
And just to give a little backstory on that, back when I was 22 years old, I first formulated a supplement. I met with a formulator. He was like a world-renowned formulator, and he had his own team of doctors and scientists. And they referenced a study that was actually done at Harvard Medical. And by having these 4 different digestive enzymes and the dosaging that we have, and they were able to show that you get higher absorption with your products, higher levels of absorption. And I think it's because, like they're saying, as you're eating these foods, your body is not getting all the nutrients in the foods or supplements because it has to break it down. So we can help break those down where we're able to absorb more.
Yeah, that's awesome. And kind of piggybacking off of that, another question that came in, and sorry guys if you think this is gross, but I know that a lot of people have this question. They said, when starting the new regimen with the products, is it normal for someone to get gassy, and will that eventually go away? And so I think that definitely has a lot to do with the digestive enzymes and what might have been going on in their microgut biome. But what can you guys speak to that question?
Yeah, am I okay? So yes, both digestive enzymes, as they're breaking things down, a byproduct of that breakdown can be gas, especially as your body is re-regulating to have a more normal and balanced flora and fauna. Again, some things of like vegetables and greens are fibrous by nature. And fiber does tend to, at times, cause gas. Some fibers we have a hard time breaking down. As Dr. Carter was saying, we take things like enzymes to help us break those down. But again, a byproduct of fibers can be some gas. So that as your body is regulating and kind of resetting and getting to a healthier state, gas can be a byproduct.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, like I said, nobody ever likes talking about, number 1, number 2, or number 3, or I don't know what number gas is, but I felt like that's a good relevant question. I've had that asked me multiple times, and I'm like,
I think that one of the top things that at least patients that come to me to, stomach issues. So no judgment. You guys ask away.
Let's see. Should we field a couple more questions, or Gavin? What are you thinking?
Yeah, let's keep doing a few more questions if people have questions.
Okay, good. Let me see.
Yeah, I think that's one good question, and people ask. I got one in the chat, but people ask this all the time, and I think you kind of have to see what works best for yourself. But the question is when should I take G-Burn? Do I take it with the meal? Do I take it before a meal? Do I take, when do I take it? Me, I personally, just because I get so busy throughout the day, I wake up and I drink my green juice. First thing I do in the morning, because I want to get some water and some fluid in my body. So I drink my green juice, I take my 3 G-Burn right then. About 30 minutes later, I have a small, healthy breakfast. Do you guys have any recommendations on when they should take the G-Burn, or when that might be the most effective?
Yeah, so I typically see, there's a few, even if you want to compare it to like prescription medications and things like that, you typically want to always take about 20 minutes or 30 minutes before a meal. Caffeine, any other things like that, that are in the G-Burn, it's an appetite suppressant. So of course you want to take it before a meal, because then you're like, oh, I'm so hungry, let me just eat everything on my plate. It's already suppressing your appetite before you even eat. So that is why you want to take it usually on an empty stomach if you can, about 30 minutes before a meal. So that would be why.
Yeah, and then also, again, because it has those digestive enzymes in it, if you're lacking in those enzymes, then it's going to help you get more nutrition, more energy out of that food that you're about to consume than you would have had you not, or had like a deficit of those enzymes and those ingredients.
I will just add to that. Some people do have more of a sensitive stomach than others. So if you do have any type of stomach sensitivity on taking anything with no food, then just simply taking it with something light, a piece of toast or something would always be beneficial, and it wouldn't really inhibit you from getting the benefits of your supplement.
Okay, it looks like there's another number 2 question in there.
So I saw, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you guys can read it. Go ahead and do that one.
Oh, a number 2 question. So, okay, hold on.
This one could be a suggestion from a pharmacist, or a suggestion with Oliva products or another product. None of our products are really designed to address constipation specifically. Obviously, they're designed to aid in healthy metabolism, digestion, appetite, microgut biome, and gut flora. So I will let the pharmacist answer the question about this specific condition, and they can kind of speak much more intelligently than I ever would be about this.
So what Ben and I both do sometimes is, so this greens product, it's amazing. Like, you can mix it with other things, and it just obviously the greens, it tastes so good that it almost overpowers a lot of other things if you were going to mix it with. So a few things I like to mix it with is protein, really tasty with vanilla protein. So you're both getting protein and your greens at the same time. Also, constipation is an issue sometimes with everyone. So what I have also done, what we've done, and what I would recommend to other people too, is if you have constipation issues, is take the fiber. So there's a fiber product that is just a tasteless fiber, and you can add fiber to the greens product. And I've already done this multiple times, and it mixes really well with it. And not only does greens help with constipation, because greens by itself are fibrous as well, but if you need that extra boost, you can always add this tasteless fiber to it, and it's as if nothing was added to it. And it's delicious and should also help kick boost that constipation.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for handling that one. Obviously, anybody who's ever seen a video of somebody that has juiced, or if you've done juicing yourself, you take the whole vegetable, you stick it in the machine, it spins it around, it squirts the juice out, and then it leaves you with all this, kind of muck. That's all the fiber basically being like taken out of the juice. So you're able to drink in all the nutrients without taking in a whole bunch of the fiber. Well, the fiber is still very important, obviously. And so instead of having to carry on a backpack full of vegetables, you can just carry your greens with you. But, if constipation is an issue, then reintroduce some more fiber into your diet, like Dr. Carter was saying. And then I know you guys have the answer to this one, because you're the ones that helped us establish what the age recommendation was for both immune and the greens, which are safe for consumption in children. They say, why is 4 the age that is recommended? So.
Yeah, I can answer that. Just for safety purposes, little children younger than 4, their metabolism is so much different, and quantities make such a big difference for people of that age, less than that. So we try to just make it a uniform dose that anyone can take safely, and we feel that anyone above 4 just kind of falls in that criteria a lot safer without any concerns.
I saw someone just comment that they said to drink more water with the greens for constipation. Obviously, yes, ingesting more fluids is going to help with constipation, kind of keep things a little bit more fluid and things like that. The greens they're really impressive. You could have greens with a little tiny amount of water, and it's delicious. you can have it with a full, huge glass of water and it's still delicious. So the more water that you add to the greens, I say the better, especially for that a specific reason.
Awesome. Yeah, I like the question in there, Heather. Obviously, at any parent's discretion, right? So they are medically trained professionals. There are certain canned answers and responses that they're always going to give, and that's to ensure the safety, general statements and safety of anybody. So you all are free people to make your own decisions. Okay, so what about breastfeeding and pregnant? This one has come up a couple of times as well. I'm not an OBGYN, so I don't dare answer this, although, I am a parent. I don't breastfeed, so I'll let you guys answer that one.
Yeah, I also don't breastfeed. But as a general rule, in working with pediatricians, they kind of like to handle that area themselves. So we typically defer that information to the pediatrician. Obviously, natural supplements kind of are in a realm of their own. They're not like a FDA regulated medication. All of these are things that your kids probably should be eating anyways, as mine made me eat my kale and broccolis and things like that. So supplements of that nature typically are deemed safe, though if you have any specific questions, I'd probably refer that to your pediatrician.
One other question that's come up a few times recently and in this chat, people always ask, that want to lose weight faster, can they take more than 3 G-Burn a day? Do you one of you guys want to answer that?
I haven't taken the G-Burn personally. I'm too skinny as it is, but I feel like I'd have to look at the actual ingredients a little bit closer. I could get back to you guys on that. I immediately don't have an answer. The ingredients in it, I think we could go higher on them without any safety risks. But again, I feel like I'd have to really delve in there to give a more specific answer.
And just from what I've seen, and I know me and Ross actually talked specifically about this when we looked into it. I don't think, depending on the weight and the size and different things like that, I don't think it would make a ton of difference. I think it might be too much if you were doing 6, maybe if it was 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. But yeah, we'll look into that and follow back up with that question. But I personally, if you're taking the greens and the other products, I would recommend just taking 3 G-Burn and give it time, because the results don't happen overnight, right? You need 30, 60, 90 days, and eventually you'll get there. It's a journey.
Yeah, and your body's going to break those down. It goes through your digestive tract, within those hours. So it would make sense to spread those out if you were going to take more than the bottle recommendation, to spread those out if you could throughout the day, as assumed to just taking the whole big lump sum in the morning.
I'll just chime in as well. I've taken the G-Burn, and I personally wanted just to take 1. I'm just going to try it and see what happens. And just the 1 does the trick for me. And it might just be because I'm sensitive to the product, but I've just been taking, maybe 1 a day. However, I'm also an energy drinker, so I sometimes drink energy drinks as well. But say I don't take the G-Burn, and I'll consume 2 energy drinks a day. I know it's really bad. I don't recommend it, but I have, and the energy drinks I drink both have, I believe, 160 milligrams per drink. And that would mean consuming 4 of the capsules of the G-Burn, I believe. And so it does okay with me. It also depends on if the person has blood pressure issues and things like that, because it does have the caffeine in it. So you kind of want to watch that as well. So if they don't have blood pressure issues, or if you don't have blood pressure issues, not the biggest deal in the world. But that's my personal intake on that.
Awesome. And then we'll do one last question and then we'll wrap it up. And we really appreciate you guys taking time to answer the questions. And I think we could just answer questions all day, every day, but we got to cut it off at some point. So somebody had asked earlier, what is a potential point of diminishing return? Like, they feel like their results have tapered off slightly. What can you guys speak to that, if anything, about, kind of like a supplementation plateau, or and maybe even like achieving a new norm, and then how do you kick it up from there?
Was that with a specific product or just in general with natural
I believe they're
supplements?
referring to the G burn specifically, and I think I have a good answer, but I want to see what you guys say first because it'll might sound smarter after.
Well, part of the G burn is that caffeine kind of that we referred to earlier, right? So you can hit a plateau in that aspect with the caffeine. So I'll leave my answer at that part is yes, there's a plateau. You can regulate it with other things, maybe take a break here and there to let your body readjust and reduce those adenosine receptors, kind of like we were talking about. But it does have the other ingredients in it. So I'll let you handle the rest of that.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to talk a little bit more from like a sports science, physiology standpoint. So your body is very, very great at adapting, right? They talked a little bit about the adaptive immune system as well. So anytime that you are initiating a new regimen, whether it is a supplementation regimen or an exercise regimen, your body is like, oh, whoa, what's going on? Something new, something different. And it starts to make a reaction to those things that are new and different. And then it's kind of starts to like get into the settle in phase where it's like, oh, okay, cool. This is the new norm. I've now adapted to this new norm. This is my adjustment phase. And so if you're all you're doing is just supplementing and you feel like you've reached a plateau with G burn and or ignite or the combination of the two, and you're feeling like, hey, I don't feel like that like zing that I had in the beginning phases of taking this product. I just kind of feel like normal every day. Like I don't notice this big after effect anymore. It's probably time to kick your regimen up a little bit, change your exercises a little bit, ensure that you're getting adequate sleep. Maybe that's something that you need to add to your overall wellness improvement process. Look for answers to improving yourself outside of the supplements because they still contain things that your body needs every single day. Right? You might just have gotten normal now to feeling so much better, and you're forgetting like how crappy you're feeling in the past. I know that I've had that experience personally when changing my supplementation regimen as well as my exercise regime, and so that is likely what you're experiencing. I think they had mentioned that it was like 5 months in, so that would be my recommendation. Kick up your workout, kick up your water intake, start to monitor your sleep. And see if you see a new increase in a change.
Yeah, I think tapping onto that homeostasis is what our body loves to just reach. It hits that nice spot where it has to do the littlest amount of energy possible to get what it needs done. So like what you're referring to, kicking it out of that homeostasis and doing like what you're saying, get up a little bit earlier, drink a little more water, take it maybe an hour or two after or before than you were before, just to kind of shake your body off of its natural homeostasis groove that it's been accustomed to. And again, we like that homeostasis though with the supplements and making your body become accustomed to having these good ingredients and vegetables and stuff in it so that it then starts to perform more optimally with that better fuel system.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, like once you stop taking the product, you will realize like, oh shoot, man, why did I do that? Because I just got back from a pretty long trip and in the on the other side of the world and not getting a good sleep, and just my whole like system was out of whack. And now that I've been back a few days and I'm back into my routine, I feel amazing again. And so really it's like if you're like, I don't know if it's working anymore, you just take a couple of weeks off, you're gonna be like, yeah, it was working. I got to get back on that.
I was just talking to Ross about that because I had the same experience. I was in Atlanta and I had this lady Uber driver, and she was talking about how she needs to lose weight. We just got talking about weight loss. And so I ran up and I just had a personal stash enough for my trip. And I gave her all of my products and the whole stash that I had so she could try the products. And just was thinking that I would be fine and being nice. And so for 8 days, I didn't have any Illuva products and I was dying. And I was telling Ross when I got home, I was out of greens in my house. So I'm like, Ross, bring me greens. I need greens. And it was crazy to me. It was a great personal experience for me because I've been taking greens for so long and stuff to be off of them. And my lack of energy, I was feeling bloated, lethargic, and all these different symptoms that I was having. As soon as I had the greens, an hour later, I'm like, okay, I feel great. I feel like I'm back in my groove and got my products. I think this has been a great call, and we're going to try to do these once a month to continue to give you guys more information and science and keep digging a little bit deeper on the products. And we're working on different studies and information that we can produce for you guys, as well as future products. So I look forward to having one of these once a month. Dr. Chelsea and Dr. Ben, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your knowledge. Ross, everyone give them a little round of applause, a little thank you in the chat. I see all of you guys doing thank yous, but yeah, Ross, thank you for your knowledge, and thanks everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you soon. Yeah.
Good night, everyone.